Hey there, Joy Seeker. Today I'm talking about what makes second marriages work after divorce, the hard work behind the happy ending. After I released my recent episode 180, it was a special 20th anniversary episode for Eric and I celebrating our 20th wedding anniversary. I heard from so many of y'all. You thanked me for being vulnerable and opening up about the journey that Eric and I have been on. And if you haven't listened to that episode yet, go and check it out. It's episode 180, our 20th anniversary celebration. And many of you asked some really great questions about rebuilding trust, parenting a blended family, navigating differences, and choosing love after heartbreak. And to be honest, I almost didn't share that episode. It is easy to share the highlight reel, the anniversary photos, the blessings, but I knew that wasn't the full story. And I also knew I wouldn't be doing you any favors if I skipped over the real parts of our struggle and our life together. Because thankfully, what we have today is the result of deep personal work, trial and error, lots of hard conversations, and learning to accept and forgive each other and to keep trying grace upon grace. That is just the way, my friends. But before we dive in, I want to offer you something special that I know can make a real difference in your healing journey. If you're walking through divorce or picking up the pieces afterwards, you might feel like you're just spinning your wheels. You want to move forward, but you're not sure where to start. Or maybe you've tried and it just feels harder than you expected. I created something special to help you. It's called a Reclaim Your Joy strategy session, and it's completely free, a 50-minute one-on-one conversation with me. It's a safe, faith-centered space where we get really clear on three things: where you are right now, where you want to be, and what is standing in your way. I love offering these free sessions. I only have a few available on my calendar every week. So make sure you get yours if this sounds like something you want in your life. And here's the best part: you will walk away with a simple, practical tool that you can start implementing right away to take that next right step towards peace, confidence, and yes, even joy. There's no pressure, no sales pitch, just my gift to you to help you navigate this season. So if your heart is saying, I need this, I would love to meet you. Go to findthejoywithjen.com and grab your free appointment today. And if you're on the journey of healing after betrayal, divorce, or emotional heartache and pain, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I drop new content weekly to help you heal, rebuild, and reclaim your joy. Today, I want to go even deeper on this topic. I want to talk about why I finally opened up about some of our personal struggles in our second marriage and dealing with a blended family. And I'm going to share a lot of things that I didn't say in episode 180, the 20th anniversary episode. So let's get into it. I'm going to be honest with you. I've always wrestled with how much to share personally with you guys on the podcast and the YouTube channel. If you are a member of my Faithful Divorce coaching program, or if we've worked together privately, then you already know I share openly in these spaces. I don't hold anything back because this is sacred ground. It's a trusted container, but in a public format, it can feel risky, exposing, and definitely scary to share a lot of intimate details about your personal life. And part of my hesitation stems from a desire to protect my space, my people, my family, and the internet isn't always kind. And I never want my story to become someone else's ammunition or even be misunderstood. But what helped me move past my fear was you. I have been mentoring and coaching men and women dealing with divorce for the last 17 years. And your comments, your emails, your DMs have really helped me. Many of you have said, it just gives me hope to know you've lived through this and gotten through it. Or you get it in a way that other people don't. Or hearing your story just gave me hope. And that matters. So I pushed through my own personal discomfort to share something real. And now I'm so glad that I did because this isn't just my story. It's the story of so many of you who are in the middle of it right now. So let me be clear. What Eric and I have right now, a 20-year marriage after both of us have been divorced and we've blended our families, it didn't just happen. It was built brick by brick over time with a whole lot of intention and tears and, yes, joy along the way. But it took a lot to get where we are today. Let me walk you through some of the biggest hurdles that we have overcome. The first one I would say is overcoming distrust after betrayal. Like so many of you, both Eric and I came into our second marriages carrying the weight of betrayal. And our hearts didn't just need healing, they needed rebuilding. And while we both wanted to love and trust again, the truth is we were scared. We each had our own unique ways of overcoming our past and choosing to trust again. It came more quickly for Eric than for me. There's not one right amount of time or way of doing this, my friends. You just have to figure it out. In the early years of our marriage, I found myself flinching, not physically, but emotionally, when he would come home late or he didn't respond immediately to my text messages or calls. I would find myself wondering, how do I know if he's even telling the truth? What if this goes exactly the same way as it did in my previous marriage? Can I really trust this man with my heart? Eric wasn't responsible for my past, but he was part of my healing. I realized that I was responsible for showing up honestly and with awareness of my own triggers. We have had so many hard conversations, and I had to practice trusting him in small things like how he handled a disagreement, or how he followed through on a small commitment, or how he treated me on really hard days. And over time, trust began to grow again, not instantly, but steadily and faithfully. Ultimately, we just had to choose to trust each other again. You just have to get to the point where you make that choice. The second thing that I feel like we really struggled with was learning to communicate when we are so different. Raise your hand if you and your partner speak totally different languages, love languages, emotional languages. That is definitely us. We do. I'm the logical one. I'm usually more calm and rational and detail oriented, and I love talking things out. Eric is emotional and he's passionate and he's much less vocal with his communication. We are opposites in many, many ways. And these differences still are challenging for us at times. But there were times when I would pour my heart out to him about something, and he would just say, okay. And I would be like, okay, that's all? That's all you've got? Meanwhile, he's thinking, why is she talking about this again and again? I already said it was fine. We had to really get to know and learn each other's communication styles and thinking styles. We even worked with a counselor at one point. We read lots of books and we practiced what is now known as emotional translation. That meant asking, what does he mean by that tone? Or what does she really need right now? Validation or a solution? And sometimes we just had to flat out ask each other, do you want support or do you want ideas for solutions right now? And that really helped us to just come out and ask each other, how is it I can best help you right now? but it wasn't always smooth, that's for sure. We've worked really hard at this for many, many years, and we're definitely still working in this area, but it got a lot easier as we committed to believing that we each have the best intentions behind our actions, seeking to understand each other and express our love with respect, and especially communicate kindly and lovingly when we don't see eye to eye about things has really made all the difference. Another huge struggle for us, and I know it is for many second marriages and blended families, is just parenting a blended family. Now, this was probably one of the biggest challenges of all, and one I know that many of you understand deeply and personally. We each brought children into our marriage, and with them, we brought our own parenting styles and expectations and traditions and even family cultures. There were so many days when it felt like a battle of wills, his, mine, and even our kids. And many times I thought he was too strict and he thought I was too lenient, and vice versa, depending on the situation. And the kids exploit different opinions, not because they're evil, just because they're kids. That's what they do. It happens naturally as they learn to navigate the world and try to just get what they want. It's one of the reasons why blending families is so challenging. So, what changed things for us? We made a commitment to present a united front as parents. No more correcting each other in front of the kids or having a power struggle in front of them. We started having behind the scenes check ins where we would talk openly and safely about what was working and what wasn't working, and come to an agreement with each other about how to parent in each situation as they arose. It took a lot of patience and humility and practice and trust, really, but it made our home a much more peaceful and secure place for all of us. We definitely weren't perfect at it, but most of the time, that's what we practiced, and it really made all the difference. The fourth hurdle that we overcame, and I really feel so proud of this accomplishment, is forgiveness and acceptance. John Gottman says that through his decades of studying married couples, the ones that make it don't change their partner and they actually just learn to love and accept each other exactly as they are. So, knowing this and keeping this in mind has really helped me practice acceptance in my relationship. And this really might be the golden thread in everything that I have learned in our 20 years second marriage and blending our families. Forgiveness isn't just something you offer one time, it is something you practice daily, sometimes many times a day. There were definitely times and probably seasons of our marriage when I expected him to change in ways that just weren't realistic. And I'm sure he expected the same of me. We both had to stop holding on to old stories and start seeing each other as we are now and accepting and loving and forgiving each other for all past wrongs. So, forgiveness looks like letting go of yesterday's irritation, choosing grace instead of being right or perfection, remembering that you're both learning and growing and even healing in your journey together. And it's not always easy, but it is worth it as you practice acceptance and forgiveness. And something that I've learned through my journey is that it is through our relationships that we grow spiritually and emotionally and even practice our faith. It is where we're refined and given opportunities and tested in ways that many times we fail, but we also evolve and grow. This is when we need to have grace for ourselves and especially for others. When we're dealing with the difficult trials of a second marriage and blended families, we are stressed, right? We're not showing up as the best version of ourselves. And having grace is just this beautiful gift of understanding, compassion, and forgiveness that God gives to us freely, that we can give to each other. That just is like the healing balm that soothes everything and makes everything better in stressful times. What I've learned is that our Savior Jesus Christ set the perfect example in all things. This applies even in our family relationships. If grace and forgiveness are the foundations of our relationship with Him, it only makes sense that when we make these the foundation of our relationships with other people, our relationships will thrive. And this is what I have experienced in my life. And I would challenge you to practice this in your life. Practice grace, forgiveness, and acceptance with those that you love in your life. So, why am I sharing all of this with you now? Because I know what it's like to be where you are. Whether you're navigating divorce right now, wondering if you'll ever trust again or love again or be in a relationship again, or trying to build something new from the ashes that you're healing from, it's hard. And I want you to know that I see you, I hear you, I am you, friend. I am not just here as someone who's figured it all out. I am someone here who has done and is continuing to do this work. It is a never ending process. It's like going to the gym and exercising your physical muscles. You can't just do it once or for a time and you're done the rest of your life. It is a habit, a process that you just practice forevermore. So is the emotional work of growing and evolving and especially healing after divorce and overcoming these wounds that we have in our past. It's something you have to continue practicing. I know what it feels like to question everything in your life when your world falls apart because of divorce, to cry on the bathroom floor, and to pray with all of your might for guidance and strength when it feels like you have nothing left. And I want to help you, if that's where you are, get to the joy quicker and easier than I did. You can, my friend, and I can help you. That's why I created my Faith-Filled Divorce Coaching Program, not because I have a perfect story to offer you, but because I have a real one filled with hope and tools to help you transform your life. And I promise you, it will have a generational impact upon yourself and your family for all of your future generations. How you handle this crisis in your life will affect your children and your posterity forever. So, as you learn tools that help you navigate these situations better, handle the situations better with more grace, more forgiveness, your children will too. And this is my why, friends. This is what I care about most, helping you create a future that feels rooted in faith and full of joy, even after heartbreak and divorce. So, if you're ready for that next step, I would love to walk with you inside my Faith-Filled Divorce Coaching Program. You will get coaching, community, real tools to help you heal and not just survive, but to thrive and evolve. So, you can learn more and join me at findthejoywithjen.com. And if today's episode has given you a little bit of hope and trust that you can rebuild your life, or reminded you that love after loss is possible, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because every week I will bring you more real stories and faith-filled tools and encouragement to help you navigate your own journey with courage and grace. And I would love to hear from you. What is one area of your relationship, whether it's with your partner or your kids or even yourself, where you're learning to trust again? Or if you're still in the hard part, what is one way you're practicing forgiveness and giving yourself grace today? I would love to hear it, and your story could be the spark that gives someone else the courage they need to keep going. So share in the comments below. I read everyone. Remember that you are not alone, my friend. You are worthy of healing, and that joy is still available to you even now. Until next time, keep growing, keep going, and keep seeking joy. Bye, y'all.